too. have pledge leaders?
So we do. Sylvie Walters is here. She's a 4th grade student from Miss Deal's class. And I don't know if the Appleman family was able to join us. Yep. Wonderful. Girls, you can come forward as well. And right behind you, if you just stand kind of behind that table, you're going to see that a microphone's there. So then we're all going to be able to hear you. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, girls. You did a wonderful job.
Terry, 1, 2, roll call.
Mr. Brookhart. Dr. Faulkner.
Here.
Mr. Garman.
Here.
Mr. Hoffman.
Here.
Mr. Reichard. Mr. Reichard Jr.
Here.
Mr. Umbriak.
Here.
Mr. Vognetz.
Here.
Dr. Green.
Here. 1-3, May 7th, 2024, board meeting. Board will take action to approve the meeting minutes from May 7th, 2024, board meetings as presented. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Brookhart.
Yes.
Dr. Faulkner.
Yes.
Mr. Garman.
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman.
Yes.
Mr. Reichard Jr.
Yes.
Mr. Umbriak.
Yes.
Mr. Vognetz.
Yes.
Dr. Green.
Yes. 1-4, May 1st, 2024, Committee of the Whole. The board will take action to approve the meeting minutes from the May 1st, 2024, Committee of the Whole meeting as presented. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Dr. Faulkner.
Yes.
Mr. Garman.
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman.
Yes.
Mr. Reichard Jr.
Yes.
Mr. Umbriak.
Yes.
Mr. Vognetz.
Yes.
Mr. Brookhart. Dr. Green.
Yes. And now the most important one, 2.1, board recognition, spring sports. So people don't have to hang out longer than they have to.
So thank you so much, Mr. Ryan. If you'll advance just a slide or two, we're going to start with recognizing our baseball team. And our baseball team this year was the District 4 Quad A champions. And just this week, they played in the state semifinal game. I know that I see Coach Noor with us, and Coach Zerby with us, and Coach Raub with us. And I'd love to turn the microphone over to you, to Coach Noor, if you would like to say anything. And if you are a member of the baseball team, if you could just stand so we could also recognize you while Mr. Noor is, or Coach Noor is talking about your accomplishments.
I'll sit here so I can make sure that I reach the microphone. So we were able to make it this year to the state semifinal round. Our season sadly came to an end on Monday night. So as much as we appreciate the honor of being here, quite honestly, I'd rather be somewhere else preparing for a state championship game. But in all reality, this team has gone as far as any team in school history. We were able to win our league and our district, and came within 5 outs of playing for a state championship, which is quite an accomplishment. I know as a coaching staff, we are super proud of these young men. We're excited not only for what we've done this year, but for the fact that we have 2 seniors, and we intend on coming back here and doing this again next year. So it's been a pleasure to work with these young men. We got about half of them here today. As you find when summer hits and you're still in baseball mode, as soon as the season ends, they scatter. We have a number of students playing baseball games tonight. So it's good that they're working. But I am thankful for us to have the opportunity to be here. We are proud to be district champions and represent our school and community, and we thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. Congratulations. Thank you for representing Danville so well. I appreciate it. On our next slide, you'll see that our girls lacrosse team, unfortunately, Coach Kika couldn't be here with us this evening, but if you go to the next slide, you will see that our girls lacrosse team were district champions this year. This was their 4th straight district championship. So certainly our girls lacrosse team also are great representatives of the Danville Area School District. We're very proud of them. There are several senior girls going on to play lacrosse in college. So it's a very talented team, and their state playoff game even went to overtime and was a sad loss. But congratulations to our girls lacrosse team on that championship. And I'd like to go to the next slide and recognize our boys tennis team. I don't know if Coach Houston is with. Oh, great. Thank you, Evan, so much for being here. So I'll turn the microphone over to you, but just share a little bit, and then you can talk some more about the season. But certainly they had an awesome regular season, going 18-1, and wanted to spotlight tonight the number 1 and number 2 players on the tennis team, Luke Frisha and Nick Petrick, who went on to district play and represented Danville really well. And I know at least Luke is with us here this evening, so thank you, Luke.
All right, so I believe 2 years ago, the team, I wasn't with the team then, but I believe that they had a losing record, and they've just shown such incredible improvement. So I think last year they developed into having a winning record, but then this year we just had an incredible run. So we, started our season with 18 wins in a row. We made it all the way to the district finals, and then we ran into Lewisburg, we played well, but sometimes, that's how it goes. So we finished up with 18-1 with the regular season team record, and we were really anchored by the top of our lineup. And so the most important was our MVP, Luke Frisha, who is here. And of course, he's a senior. He was one of our captains. He was a great role model both on the court as well as off the court. And on the court, he was just an absolute beast this year. So during our undefeated run of 18 wins, he won every single one of his matches. And the most important part is that he was playing number 1 singles, the very top of the lineup, meaning he's playing the best player from every other team. And you can't always have your best every single day, but he still was able to win every single time. And because of that, it helped us, go undefeated. And then Nick Petrick wasn't here today, but he played number 2, and he also just showed dramatic improvement throughout the season. I think he finished up with something like a 9-win, 9 in a row winning streak. I couldn't keep track; it was too many. So they just did great. And then with tennis, you also, in addition to teams, you have the singles and the doubles tournaments. And so they both represented us well in singles. So Nick Petrick made it to the quarterfinals, and then Luke Frisha made it to the semifinals. And then in doubles, they did one step further, and they made it to the finals. And so I was just really proud of their performance, and that's kind of why I look a little sweaty. Actually, Luke and I were hitting a little bit before, so it's fun for me and hopefully fun for them as well. So.
Thank you so much. Thank you for all of your work as well. And congratulations to Luke. And board members, for those of you that weren't able to be with us at graduation on Friday night, I'd also like to share that Luke was the class of 2024's valedictorian. So also a lot of academic success in addition to that tennis success. So congratulations, Luke. And if you go to the next slide, Mr. Ryan, I'd like to recognize the boys track and field team. So the boys track and field team, Coach Vella wasn't able to be with us this evening, but had a lot of success at districts. So you can see a lot of people who were on the podium at districts for Danville for boys track and field. Certainly congratulations to Bronson Krynak, who took first in the javelin, and at districts he set a new school and a new district record. Gavin Holcomb placed first in the pole vault. Dane Spar placed first in the 3,200 and third in the 1,600 meter races. Colin Geis placed third in the javelin. Troy Rout placed third in shot put and third in discus. The 4x800 team of Wyatt Brady, Adam Gallo, Sam Need, and Dane Spar placed third place. Adam Gallo earned an individual fourth in the 3200. Skylar Simpson a fifth in the 300 hurdles. Sam Need an eighth in the 3200. And our 4x100 team of Gavin Cochran, Zach Conway, Cole Harvey, and Skylar Simpson earned an eighth place recognition. So all of those young men went home with a district medal and certainly represented Danville well. And if you go on to the next slide, you'll see that the boys track and field team also had state success. So we were able to send Bronson to states for the javelin, Gavin for the pole vault, Dane for the 1600 and 3200 meter races, Adam in the 3200 meter race, and Wyatt, Adam, Sam, and Dane in the 4x800. Just a very nice showing for boys track and field at the state competition. And we came out successful as well. Bronson Kranak is a state champion in the javelin, and he is going on to throw at the Division I level in college. So certainly congratulations to Bronson. Gavin Holcomb placed fourth in the pole vault, and he set a school record when he did that. And Dane Spar placed fifth in the 1600 and seventh in the 3200 at states. So certainly congratulations to Coach Vela and to our boys track and field team. And then finally, I'd like to recognize our girls track and field team, and Coach Bartholomew is with us if you'd like to come to the microphone. And Coach Bartholomew has prepared a few slides about the girls track and field team. And you're welcome to give Mr. Ryan some directions for when you'd like the slide to advance.
Very much for inviting us, everyone. It's really nice to be here, and most of our girls are on summer vacation, as you can tell. So I had two that were glad to join us tonight. So the team behind me is a very small team of track and field ladies. We had about 38 young ladies on our entire team, and we cover 18 different events. So all of these ladies took part in some way, shape, or form, many events throughout the season. So I couldn't be more proud than I have been of them and their accomplishments this season. We did win 3 meets this season, 3 dual meets, which was pretty great for us. We are AAA for our girls, which is very challenging.
And Mr. Ryan,
place
if you
to
want
be
to
for us.
advance, you'll see some of those stats. There you
Thank
go.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yes, and we did well at our freshman-sophomore meet this year. We placed 4th, 12th at the league meet. 20 of our athletes from our 38 girls made it to the league meet, which is pretty amazing. Some of our league meet standards are actually higher than the district standards, so we were glad that 20 of our young ladies could compete at the leagues. And in districts, we finished 7th overall, and we were able to take 19 of our young ladies to the district meet. So that's pretty awesome. Half of our team got to go, and 1 young lady made it to the state qualifying meet in Shippensburg. We could go to the next slide, please. At districts, this group of young ladies, Hannah Bartholomew, Janie Kottner, Victoria Bartholomew, and Odin Ryer, they placed 3rd in the 4x800 meter relay with an amazing time of 9 minutes and 41 seconds. And that roughly means that each young lady ran about 2 minutes and 25 seconds or less, each of them twice around the track, which is pretty amazing. 2 of our young ladies are freshmen and 2 are seniors, and we ended up taking a 3rd place there with just an exceptional performance from these ladies. If you would like to go to the next one, please. In the 800 meters, Odin is not here tonight, but I commend her as a freshman for taking 2nd place overall, and with a phenomenal time of 2:19.88, she almost won, and that was just an incredible effort on her part. Quite amazing for a freshman to do that. So next year, Odin should get there. Janie Kottner, and in her individual event of the 1600 meters, she placed 4th at the district meet with an amazing time of 5 minutes and 20 seconds. And couldn't be more proud of our 2 freshmen coming on this year. Next slide, please. As I said, there are 18 different events in track and field, and we also had some jumpers medal at the district meet. Triple jumper Hannah Hafer is not with us tonight, but she did accomplish a third place finish with a triple jump of 33 feet and 9 inches. This was her first year triple jumping, and we couldn't be more proud of Hannah Hafer for doing such a great job. She's a junior, and she'll be back next year with, I think, even greater success. Our high jumper, Emily Chillis, is here tonight. Emily is also known as a long jumper, too, but this year she gave the high jump a try. Emily. And she ended up jumping 4 feet 11 inches at the district meet, taking third, which is just incredible. So we were so proud of Emily earning a third place medal at districts. And last but not least, Victoria Bartholomew, who's here, she took a third place in the 3,200 meters, and the top 3 girls in the 3,200 meters this year all qualified for the state meet in Shippensburg, which was pretty phenomenal. Being AAA, they only take one place, and then anybody who qualifies by the time to get to the state level. In AA, they take 2. So it was pretty challenging for Victoria to have this happen, but we always go, if you're going to try to go to the state level, make sure you go for the time. And wouldn't you know, this year they dropped the time and made it even tougher on us. It was 11:10 last year, and they dropped it to 11:08 this year. So Victoria really pushed herself very hard and just got into the state qualifying time. Next slide, please. So there she is at Shippensburg, and she finished 25th place overall in the AAA category. So congratulations to Victoria. Next slide. And then I have to say, Victoria and Hannah were the scholarship winners for the Brant Mahoney Scholarship this year, showing their academic and their physical and athletic accomplishments. These two were also awarded the PIAA District for Outstanding Female Athletes of the Year, and it's pretty funny because I having twins, it was pretty phenomenal that they split that award, both with all of their accomplishments in athletics. So we ended up having a great season. Couldn't be more proud of our entire team. Very few seniors that we have. 8 are leaving us, and out of those 8, a few of them actually are going on to compete at the collegiate level at Shippensburg, Bucknell. Emily might be performing at Millersville, and just so happy that they get to take their talents outside of Danville, continue on. So thank you very much.
Thank you to the girls track team. Congratulations to all of our student athletes on a great spring season. You are welcome to stay and join us for the rest of the meeting, or if you would like to exit, that is fine too.
So, 2-2 reports. CMAVTS.
I didn't attend.
I think most of these will be nothing to report, but CSIU.
We met on the 15th. It was the art gallery reception, which is, if folks haven't been to that, it's really cool. They have artists from every district in the CSIU region, including Danville, who had a beautiful piece of artwork commissioned. It was a group of students who had something on display there, and they go through. It was a really cool event, really highlighting. I think oftentimes we highlight the academics and athletics, and sometimes the arts can be a little bit left behind. But so this is a great thing to really honor those talents of folks from our district, but across the region. And then we also, as a board, completed evaluation of Dr.
Well, you'll see that they have held relatively steady to what they had been in a prior month, and the same would be true on our non-public enrollment report, which again is representative of where things, if you go, Mr. Ryan, if you go to the next slide, of where things were sitting at the very end of the school year. You see a slight decrease in Christian schools for the end of the school year. then that takes us to our administrator board reports. So I'll turn it over to Dr. Gump to get us started there.
Sure thing. Good evening. Keeping things moving along at the high school, giving you a scheduling update. So we were able to hit a 91.3% success rate on student course requests. So we were able to then go ahead and basically have a move-up day for our current 9th, 10th, and 11th grade students. So they got a preview of their schedule, and they were also able to work with guidance counselors on, hey, I don't like this about my schedule. I scheduled this but didn't get it. So we're now in that process of refining schedules. So I just want to put this out to you and then also the public that August 1st is the date we plan on kind of making the schedules live and complete. So we'll go ahead and do that through the community portal for August 1st, which is a Thursday this year. We had valediction, our award ceremony as well, on May 30th, totaling 104 Danville High School students were either recognized or received an award that evening. So very nice, healthy number of students who were recognized. Thank you so much to our generous donors for contributing at least $185,000 in scholarships that were provided to DHS students. And the final thing is, I just want to say it quickly, graduation was held outside and just had an absolute amazing evening outside. A little bit of rain came through. What time, Dr. Need? 5:30, something like that? Gave us a little bit of a scare, but
We were good.
it was a beautiful night, and in total we had 143 graduates go through. Mr. V is going to talk a little bit about the cultural side of the high school.
I'll just add something real quick. Having attended the graduation, it was really well run, well organized, celebratory. So I was just very impressed. And I know there's a lot of people involved in that process. So just a shout out to everybody in the district side and beyond who helped put together such a beautiful presentation, and really a true acknowledgement of the hard work by the students and teachers and faculty who've supported their growth.
Thank you. And I will just back that up with, it is a team effort. There's just so many people, even just administratively, that just help that day, and so there's a ton that goes into it, but it's all hands on deck kind of event, so it was really good. So along with a lot of the events,
in 10 years. I'm just gonna put that out there.
what's that?
I said I wore a suit for the first time in 10 years. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Definitely a
Special
highlight.
it was.
So along with all the other events that were going on at the end of the school year, on May 29th, we held a final final one for the year, academic pep rally, which we were able to recognize students for perfect attendance for the school year. We also did a tribute to our winning the best high schools, or one of the best high schools in the U.S. Award, along with some of the recognitions from that. So we obviously did a little presentation with that particular award, and then we recognized our students for dual enrollment credits, and all the students that were able to participate in that program this year. And we also recognized students that were kind of followed through with our Forge On motto for the school year, so we recognized students for that as well. And then we concluded the event with an ice cream sundae buffet, which was basically scooped by Mr. Gump and Dr. Need and Mr. Moser. So it was a fun afternoon, and students got a chance to not only take part in that, but also in our end of the year carnival. So it was a lot of fun, and it kind of gets students kind of in the mindset to celebrate, but also get ready for finals, which was the following week. So just a lot of great things, and a fun time at the end of the year. So.
All right, good evening, everyone. So I'll start with some of the culture events. So as we ended the year, of course, at the middle school, there's all kinds of things going on, but I'll highlight, we had another end of the year carnival. We've brought that back for the last couple years now. It went away for several years. And believe it or not, middle school students love bounce houses and obstacle courses, all the inflatables. They had a great time. We brought in a number of those. They had to be set up inside this year. There was some concerns with wind, so we utilized the gymnasium and downsized a little bit, but everyone still had a great time. Focusing on some of the academic, to piggyback off of Dr. Gump, we are also very deep in the scheduling process at the middle school right now. I would like to highlight that we have revamped the middle school schedule. I know Mr. Moser brought this up a couple board meetings ago. We've gone to a 6-period day, which you know, you can do the math. It adds quite a bit of instructional time to each subject. So when you think about our core subjects and the electives, where we've gone from 43-minute periods to 56-minute periods, which you know, when you calculate that 13 minutes a day out, adds 39 additional instructional hours per subject for the school year, which we are very, very confident will allow our teachers to go deeper into, you know, the academic content, be able to, you know, hit some of those units and areas in quite a bit more depth than we have previously been able to. So we can certainly focus on academic achievement at the middle school level, along with the additional instructional time per subject. We have added an agriculture special that will feed into the high school's ag program, very popular program at the high school. And we will continue. We started a new class last year. We call it RISE. It's our middle school acronym: Respect, Integrity, Success, and Empathy. And almost all 6th graders, with a few exceptions, will be in this class, and it basically is designed to teach students as they transition from 5th grade at, you know, the elementary model of education into a secondary model in 6th grade. It's a huge transition for our 6th graders, our 5th into 6th graders, and we recognize that that was certainly an area of struggle as they, you know, became acclimated to the middle school. So we developed a class that almost every student will get starting at the beginning of the year that will help them, you know, make that transition much more smoothly. All evidence, anecdotal, and when you look at that 6th grade class, our last year 6th grade class, shows that the program is certainly successful. We got a lot of positive feedback from families and students about how much that program, that class has helped them make the transition to the middle school. So we're really happy with that and proud that we're able to offer that. Thank you.
Thank you. So the end of the year at Liberty Valley was also super fun. We had an award assembly, field day, 5th grade palooza. 5th grade lip dub was the end of the year. If you were at graduation, there's a video that they show during graduation where the students as 5th graders create this huge like music video almost, and it's so cool to be able to see the hard work that goes into this video, and they do it because they play it at graduation. So that happened at the end of the year. It was just awesome to see. But one thing that I think is definitely true about Liberty Valley is that you know, we focus a lot of our time on instruction, and you know, we try to make sure that the kids are also having some fun, but we also are really concerned and focusing on our students' mental health. So kind of going off of what Dr. Snover and Dr. Gump had both mentioned, the transition of like a Move It Up Day. Something that we did that was kind of unique for an intermediate school is not only did we make sure that we had that transition piece for our 2nd graders, May 22nd, our 2nd graders came up to Valley. They had lunch there. They got to meet all of the teachers. They had this really amazing morning where they got to be 3rd graders for a couple of hours. But we didn't stop there. We also made sure that our 4th graders, our incoming 4th graders, and our incoming 5th graders also had that opportunity, which is something that I don't believe has been done in the past, or maybe not in a while. But just making sure that not only are our incoming 3rd graders getting that opportunity, but also our 4th and 5th graders, so that they're not going into the summer worried and stressed out. What does it look like? Who are the 4th grade teachers? Who are the 5th grade teachers? We don't want the students going into the summer, you know, just having these what ifs. So we spent a lot of time revamping our schedule. It took a lot of planning for this day, but just making sure that, like I said, our older intermediate school students also had the opportunity to meet their possible teachers and to spend some time like intermixed with each other. They went, our current 3rd graders got to eat lunch as 4th graders, so they even got an opportunity to have a different lunchtime. 5th graders had a little bit later lunchtime. They got to do some things that only 4th grade and 5th grade do. So just highlighting the fact that, you know, we are really focused on that transition and just making sure that our students aren't going into the summer with a bunch of what ifs. They have the opportunity to get comfortable with what's coming. So that was just super important for us. It went really well. We had parents and teachers say that was really great. We got to keep doing this. But just a shout out to our teachers that had helped with that. It was a really awesome thing that we tried this year, and we're going to keep it going. And next week we have our K-5 summer program that begins at DPS, so we're excited about that. Working behind the scenes for that, and we have about 35 kids that are signed up to come. So it's going to be pretty cool. So we'll have more to talk about next time about summer school.
So as Dr. Reinhardt said, we are getting ready for summer school K through 5 at the primary school, but we're also going to be having ESY here, which is extended school year, and that's K through 12 for specific students, and to kind of help with that summer slide and just to keep the routine and the momentum going throughout the school year. But we're also moving into preparations for next school year, and we start our safe crisis training next week with Mr. Rahalik, and we are also in the process of scoring approximately 1,000 universal screeners for strength and difficulties for K through 5 students, and so we started that process yesterday. We're also updating procedures, but also how we're documenting things in Sapphire, and we're just continuing to work on that as the summer continues, and that's where we're at as far as moving forward with the summer.
Well, good evening. I would just like to congratulate our seniors again who had a gorgeous graduation ceremony this past week. I'd also like to thank our special education staff at the high school as they held a beautiful life skills graduation for 4 of our students. We had an audience full of family members, teachers brought down high school students to attend. It was just a very wholesome, inclusive, very happy event. It was beautifully run. At the middle school level, I would just like to accent this past month we had some gifted education students compete in various competitions. Danville took first place in the 6th grade division and the 7th and 8th grade division at a math competition at the CSIU. So congratulations to them and Mrs. Byer for their hard work. Additionally, this past month, several of our students competed in Dream Learn Pitch and Pitchathon at Penn State University. Of the group that went, 2 of our students pitched their project and ended up tying for 4th in the state overall. They were awarded $150. Again, special thanks to Mrs. Byer for getting the kids there and competing and organizing the event. I would just like to publicly thank Brighter Financial Futures and Kohl's Hardware as they back the project, just for investing in our students and their future and success towards excellence. Another one of our students took first place in the region at the Danville Elks essay contest and then went on and placed at the state level. So now I think we're just in a position to just take time to reflect, refresh, refine, and start our summer planning and get ready for August, because that will be here before we know it.
Thank you.
So at Head Start, we had our last day of school last Wednesday, June 5th, and spent some of the day celebrating the end of the year and transitioning our kids to kindergarten, and then also some of the returning kids. So we had 82 out of 86 children have at least one parent. Most of them had 2, 3 adults with them to attend. They start out in the classroom. The teachers all put together a slideshow, and then they give out certificates to each of the children. And then Kathy McKenna organizes. We had about 4 or 5 police officers come and give citizenship awards to each one child in each classroom, and they take pictures with them. And it's just a really nice. The kids get a gift certificate, and just really nice for them to see the policemen in such a positive light, and to honor all their good work that they had done over the year. And then we headed outside with inflatables, different activities set up. We had Pelican Snowball there. And it just was a really nice event. It was a gorgeous day outside, and just the parents just thanking us for all that we've done for their whole family for the whole year and how much their kids grown. It was just really nice to be all together, and we had at least probably 200 people there. And so when you invite them, they just, in Head Start, they truly come, and it's just really fun and nice to see.
Yes, I want to take a moment. As a technology group, we kind of play a role, all throughout the education of the children, as they go through the district. We do, however, have a more direct role with some of the, the students at the high school level with our co-op program. And through the years, we've had some very successful co-ops, and we're proud of all of them. I just want to give a shout out to the commencement speaker at graduation, Mr. Scott Gower. He's become a fantastic young man, and we're really proud of him. We're glad that we could be part of his love for technology, and we could expose it to him, expose him to it at a young age, and then give him the opportunity then to further it on as he went through his academic years and now as working for SpaceX. So it was awesome to see. He did a great job. I thought his speech was fantastic, and I just want to give a shout out to Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan. I'd certainly just like to thank all of the administrators for their hard work in the 23-24 school year, especially for just getting across the finish line in May and June here. The to-do list at the end of the year just gets huge. So thank you all. Shout out to the entire team for a really successful graduation on Friday night. That was just like a beautiful event for our community and a beautiful way to culminate the year, and it really took everybody who's here this evening and took lots of teachers and staff members behind the scenes as well. So kudos to everyone. And even a special shout out to Mr. Ryan for graduation. He live streamed the ceremony so people that were unable to come in person could see that, and that's still available. And through a grant, we were able to get a drone for the school district, and Mr. Ryan has gotten some great drone footage that is part of our kind of opening video on the webpage, and he immediately added graduation caps kind of flying in the air to that initial video. So a kind of beautiful above graduation video footage is already on the webpage and looks fantastic. Thank you. Back to you, Dr. Green.
Or one, public comment. Agenda items only. All right. 5-1, presentation, outside guests. Marietta and Maine.
I would say you could use this seated microphone, or if you'd like to stand and have a microphone, that one could work well. And Mr. Ryan back there has your slides, so you could tell him when you're ready for a slide to be advanced.
Okay. Good evening. I'm starting things off. Thank you for inviting us to present this evening. We're excited to be here. My name is, can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Dana Bartels, and I am the Director of Project Development at Marietta, Maine Architects. Our intention this evening is to keep things simple and brief because I know that your schedule agenda is pretty tight, so we'll keep it brief. And I wanted to maybe on the third one. Sorry. We're going to go to presenting. Thank you. All right, so joining me this evening, I have Ted Strasser and Christopher Peters and Connie King, who are all principal architects with our studio. Don Main, our managing principal architect, could not be here tonight because he is at an Act 34 evening with another district. So he's very sorry that he couldn't be here, but he had another commitment. So with that, I'll turn it over to Ted.
You can go to the next. So Donald and I have known each other since 1994. We were young intern architects with a firm in Lewisburg. I am born and raised in Williamsport. Donald actually is born and raised in Sunbury. So we're both from the region. I have always stayed in the area and had a private practice basically here since 1994, working within the central Susquehanna Valley. We've always kept in touch. Donald went off, created a firm in Lancaster that has grown to a firm of 28 folks now, and they have a really strong specialization in K through 12 schools, which you'll hear mostly about tonight. I stayed here in the region. I created a firm of 8 folks here in Sunbury. I had my actually office here in Danville from 2013 to 2018. So very familiar with the Danville community and done a lot of work in basically this immediate neighborhood. So we joined forces just as we are basically still in the process of fully merging our firms together, and found this as a really nice opportunity to kind of join that local knowledge, the local understanding we have here with the talents and just the great structure and technical know-how of the K through 12 school market that Murata, Maine offers. So with that, I'll turn it over. Oh, actually, one more slide. Part of that kind of blending of everything is our consultant team that we would propose to use on projects moving forward. And again, we try to kind of work with firms that we've all worked with before. So Livick Civil is right here in Northumberland. They also have a big Bloomsburg office, excuse me. Providence Engineering would be our structural engineering. They have a firm, an office in Lewisburg. And Martin Rogers is located in Wilkes-Barre, but they do a ton of work here at Geisinger. And Mike Mills, principal engineer of Martin Rogers, actually lives about 2 miles from here, and his kids go to the district. So with that, I will turn it over to Christopher, and you can go to the next slide.
Thanks. We'll run through some slides fairly quickly to try to keep it short. We'll keep Mr. Ryan busy here. Just to reiterate what Ted said, we've been doing K through 12 work, higher ed work for over 20 years, basically 90% of what we've been doing in our office in Lancaster, now Sunbury, down in Chatsford area. You can go to the next slide. That slide and this slide was in the packet we submitted. We've done facility studies over and over again with districts to help them figure out what the next steps are. What is the 2-year, 5-year, 10-year plan? We've done things with Lycoming CTC and Warrior Run and East Lycoming down into our Lancaster County, down into Delaware County, Chester County. So we've been helping districts for years to do that. I'm going to go to the next slide. And then the next slide. We want to talk a little bit about the collaboration. Really, it's about communication with you, setting up meetings, what are your needs. In this example here that we did for a district in Lancaster County, similar to some of the things that you guys have been talking about here in terms of school location, maintenance issues, grade configuration. In this case, we had an elementary school here that we moved to the main campus by renovating the existing middle school, which happened to be too small, and we built a new middle school on that main campus. We've got high school, middle school, that elementary school. We're currently using this elementary school here, that building as swing space as we renovate the other elementary schools in the district, so we're not doing construction where there's kids trying to learn at the same time. If you go to the next slide. This is a graphic. We'll show you a couple graphics in this presentation quickly. This is a graphic that helped us understand what to do. The top is just their existing grade configuration, and then we put together some options. We removed 6th grade from from the elementary school, put it in the middle school, 6 through 8, created an expansive middle school. We also had an option of creating a 5-6 building and a 7-8 building. So again, just talking through those options, putting it on paper, what works, what doesn't work, what financially works, what works with busing, what doesn't work with busing, et cetera. So that was something that really helped us make that decision. Another graphic that we use to help make a decision is, this is simply put, if you're spending on a renovation project 65% of what it would cost to build a new building, then maybe we don't want to put the money into an existing building and we want to think about new construction or at least an addition, that sort of thing. So we call it the 65% rule. Once you're hitting 65, 70%, maybe you're throwing money where it doesn't belong and it makes more sense to build some new construction. So another rule of thumb as part of the facility study process. You can go to the next slide. At the end of a facility study process, there's a lot of deliverables, but one of them is just this 10-year plan. This is a graphic of years 6 through 10. Capital projects, what are your big projects? What are your systems thing? Maybe you have to replace clocks or a boiler, or summer projects are in orange. So it gives you a plan moving forward. And if you decide in year 2 that something you put in year 9 needs to move to year 3 because it becomes critical, this is a living document. It just keeps moving and changing, updating with dollars and cents so you can plan ahead. Again, just another tool to use for planning purposes in the future. Go to the next slide. I know enrollment was a piece that might be a part of this. So we've worked with Bill Montgomery for years. Absolute Technology is the current firm name. And just looking at enrollment, demographics, where there are residential upstarts, where is there growth, where is there not growth. So this can certainly be part of that study, and if necessary, and we'd bring them into the picture to do that as part of that iterative process. Go to the next slide. So I've got 2 brief slides before Connie closes us out here, try to keep our time. At the beginning of the master plan process, we want to sit down with you and outline what the plan is. This is an example, 4 months, could be 5 months, could be 6 months, but we sit down and talk about this with the stakeholders. What are we looking at? When are we meeting? When are we going to go look at the buildings? When are we going to look at the boilers? When are we bringing engineers in? So this would be also a living document that we'd want to highlight at the beginning so we can keep our tasks and get to where we need to be for you. Next slide has a different version of that what we call schedule agenda. It's the overall project schedule for construction projects. We want to, again, when are we having stakeholder meetings? When are the engineers involved? When are we hitting major milestones for either board presentations, or when do we have to have major approvals? This is a building project, building permits or site approvals. So again, another tool to help you get to where you need to be for the master plan and then finding out what's going forward. So you can go to the next slide. All right, I'll turn it over to Connie to close with the slide here.
And I think with 10 minutes, we really tried to hit some of the key tools that we use when we're doing the facility study. So just kind of big picture, I'm going to hit a few items that we call Why Murata, Maine. Next slide. One critical piece to our firm for any kind of project is team continuity. So the folks that you see at the interview will be your project team going through a study, going through a construction project, all the way to construction and closeout of projects. We just find that having that knowledge from the beginning when you're setting goals and you're talking about educational planning, all of those things are critical to know as you go through and you're problem solving during construction or making decisions. You've got that knowledge, you know, what happened through the whole process. The second piece we'd highlight is that we have, and there's a lot of acronyms, an ALEP certified staff member, and that's accredited learning environment professional. Me. And it's through the Association for Learning Environment. So it's really just an intensive program that helps you learn to guide districts through this whole process, starting with whatever you need, but educational visioning and pedagogy and how are you delivering your education, down to the facility assessment and all of those pieces. Community involvement is a big piece, and how can you draw out of children, the students, parents, faculty, community, everybody in this community, the key pieces that really tie into your study and make it yours. So that's something that would be part of the study, mainly focused in the study on the educational input. Next slide. This graphic is just depicting work that we've done in the area. Currently, we are at East Lycoming School District, Warrior Run, Lycoming Township. We've worked at Bloomsburg School District in the past, and so we're up here. Our staff from Sunbury, our staff from Lancaster are in the area working for other school districts. And it's study work, additions, renovations, all different types of projects. Next thing, again, for any client, educational or otherwise, is that we're working for you. We want the study or the project design to be about you, to be a reflection of your community. So that input and your feedback on priorities and goals and all of that can really help us to make a final study or project for you that you feel is yours and reflects your community, the values or the culture, all of that. So I won't read through everything. Those were kind of the highlighted pieces that we wanted to bring, and I guess we could go to questions if anybody has questions.
I'd like to ask, you know, one of the factors here we're looking at is an enrollment study, and I understand that you partner with somebody to do that. Generally speaking, when you partner with them, I guess it's consistently been the same company, from my understanding of your presentation?
We've used a couple different companies. So we've worked in some school districts where they've had a previous study done by a company and they've been comfortable with that and happy with that and they want to continue. So we are certainly willing to work with another company. Bill is just someone that we have a lot of experience with.
Okay.
Other questions? Thank you.
Thank you
we'll
very
be
much.
deciding in the near future. Safe travels.
Jesus.
Sit in the middle?
Oh.
Okay, you're welcome to use the microphone here if you'd like to sit, or we have a microphone you can hold if you prefer to stand by the slides. Whatever works best for you. Either of those, whatever you're more comfortable with. I don't know who has the microphone if you'd want to. And the gentleman back there at the computer, Mr. Ryan, can advance slides for you, so you can just say next slide when you're ready, and he'll take care of you.
Okay. And this is it working?
Yep. You're perfect.
Okay, great. Thank you. I'll try to speak loud so you can hear me if this shuts off. My name is Randy Galliotto. If you go to the next slide. There we go. And I'm a principal at Alloy 5 Architects. I've been practicing architecture for over 25 years now, mainly doing public school facilities. I'm currently the chairman of Governor Shapiro's Professional Selection Committee for the Department of General Services. I serve on the School Construction Task Force for the American Institute of Architects. And I'm here with my partner and our president, Michael Metzger.
Try to do without the mic if that's okay. Mike Metzger?
I'm going to actually ask you to pass the mic because people do watch from home. That's okay.
Gotta pass the mic. Sorry. I'll reintroduce myself. My name is Michael Metzger. As Randy mentioned, I am his partner. He and I founded Alloy 5 coming up on 10 years ago. I've been in practice for nearing 30 years at this point, which is kind of scary to think. A lot of the work that I do is in the athletic sphere. So I do a lot of, from the beginning of my practice, I've worked with both colleges, universities, as well as high schools and grade schools in the athletic sphere, both outdoors and indoors. Currently, I'm the state president for the AIA, so my term will go until January at the state level. And a lot of the things we've been working on at AIA is school funding. So that's one of the big pushes in Harrisburg that we've been working towards. And understanding the time limit, I'm probably going to let Randy do a lot of the talking. He talks a little bit faster than I do, and I will interject if I need to.
And I'm going to go really quick, because if I talked for a while on all these slides, we would be here all night. We broke it down into these 5 categories, which were basically taken from the RFP, items that were important to you to understand about us from our knowledge through customer service. And I'm going to talk about all of these going through. This is our entire team. We're a team of just over around 35, 36 professionals. Not everyone on the team that would work on your project is here tonight. Becca Rusnock and Gina Very, Michelle Mazingo, they're presenting a district merger study tonight in Athens and Sayre. But I'll say what is unique about our team is we're not all architects. Becca Rusnock has a background in economic development. She helps her clients with grant funding and state legislation. And Michelle Mazingo is an interior designer, and she's really our whiz at capital planning. And what makes us unique is that we're architects, so we blend architecture, interior design, and graphic design to practice communication by design. Why is that important? Because everything we're doing is communicating to you as a board and to your public. Our practice is just about 100% public projects. It's not all K-12 projects, but we are in the public realm, and we work in communities all over the Commonwealth. What makes us good at what we do is simple. We just understand this balance, a great balance between sustainability, cost effectiveness, codes, implementation, interpretations, and that balance is what makes our product a great product. As I mentioned, we work for about 18 school districts and communities all through the Commonwealth, as far west as Greensburg, as far south as Philadelphia, and north up through the northern tier. Recently, we completed a district study for Parkland School District. We have examples of that here. What is unique about that is they have 3 pillars that they talk about delivering their education: athletics, performing arts, and academics, and we uniquely created their facility plan around those 3 pillars, and those are the 3 books you see up there today. We also work for Northwestern Lehigh School District, currently doing work there. We pick certain projects to identify like services that you're looking for. This involved obviously a facility assessment, but also looking at doing some potentially closing schools. Blake Lehman was, you knew the superintendent there. His son got drafted the year we did this plan, and athletics was on his mind, so we did basically a consolidation study for the district to try to eliminate their township elementary schools and to try to get the Penn State Wilkes-Barre to partner with the school district to develop additional athletic programs. So we had an indoor facility and plenty of outdoor facilities that they've started to implement. We've been Easton's architect of record for about 15 years now. We've completed many projects there. And haven't outlasted the solicitor yet because he hasn't retired, but I've been with the Bangor School District for about 25 years. And we work locally, and I say we're in it for the long haul, and we were the architects on the VOTEC project, which I think many of you know has been around for a long time. Proof that we don't quit. And there's some historic terms. You'll hear feasibility studies, master facilities plan, capital improvement plan. We practice what we call capital action planning. If you go to the next slide. We deliver that just like all those other types of plans, but we set it up just like PDE requires. These 6 sections, and we add a 7th section on for community input, should we get to the end of the day and need some. I said I was on the task force for school construction funding, and what we saw on that screen is going to change. Senate Bill, I think 152, passed today, which is going to mandate what you're doing right now, facility assessments. So that made it through Senate today. We'll see where that heads in the future. But we are working hard to try to get U schools funding. So I mentioned we deliver what we think is a great product. We brought examples of that product in capital action planning. And what makes them great is that we understand communities. The first thing we do is what you should understand tonight is what does day 1 look like? We feel that you get to the end of the road of these plans, and there's some tough decisions to make, and they have a lot of impact on a lot of people and communities and neighborhoods. First thing to do, we ask you to identify your core values so that we can implement and marry those core values with the facilities decisions that you need to make. So that's day 1, and then we ask you to establish your core values for us and goals. What are the goals? What are we looking to do here so that we make sure that we're making decisions around those goals, and obviously evaluating conditions and developing. So when we're establishing your goals, we will work through that with you. One goal that we do push on our clients is to establish standards. Standards being, if you go to the next slide, we use this simple graph to say if those boxes are your buildings and that red bar should be your standards, The goal for here is to bring your buildings up to that bar or those standards. Because if you don't, next slide, just going to hover around average, and I think that's why we're here, to help you through that, to make it equitable. Next slide. And it goes from spaces, educational programming, planning, to types of flooring and common faucets, common wax, you know, you name it, is trying to use this plan as a way to standardize everything cost effective. We look at usually a 2-year version, 5-year, or 10. Senate Bill 152 is a 7-year program, but what's going to probably at the end of the day happen is probably going to be a 5-year program that you're going to be required. And what's unique about us is the way that we work with our clients, and it was really important to see, for us to see that you care about customer service, because it is something we focus on a lot. We have a process, we call it the 5 Guide. We ask you to set aside 1 hour every 2 weeks to work with us. Come prepared to that meeting with your leadership team with an agenda, with a design packet, and we'll break your feasibility study down into small parts and pieces so that we can accomplish everything and get your input. At the end of the day, we use it as a tracking tool, so it's a visual tool, so that we can reflect back on the decisions that were made and understand who made them, why they were made, and ultimately that our facility studies are meant to outlast boards and administrators so that everyone understands what's going on constantly. Because oftentimes they're put on a shelf and people are and forgot about. So we look for stakeholder engagement. We could do surveys. We share information with you through Google Classroom or whatever method you use. But we like to have common sharing points so you have all the documents and information that we have all the time. And then we break your buildings down into those 6 parts from site through systems, and that's what we do our evaluations on. I stole this term, blacktop to rooftop, but basically that's what we're looking at. Everything, if there's a question as to what we're evaluating, it's everything from parking lots through your roofs. And we don't assess it, we try to put logic to it. And I think that is what's unique about this process that we have. This grading rubric we develop with you. It takes into account everything from those standards that I talked about. That's the left bar. Safety next to it. Those are the bars that there's no exceptions to that. And it goes from structural concerns, operational impact, public impact, all through life expectancy. And we put a grading factor on that. If you go to the next. Looks a little bit like your taxes, but it does bring logic to what we're doing and how we're evaluating things so that you know it's not just an architect's interpretation. We developed this equation. If you go to the next slide, we rate things from priority 1 through 10, and then we color code it green through red. So if it's green, it's good to go. If it's red, you have to stop and fix it. Develop a list of capital items that need to be addressed through that. Prioritize it based off of that grading rubric and what's important to you and the community. But we present it to the public in a way that strips it down to like so that you can understand it. All the details in the book, very hard to present, very hard to digest. So we try to keep our presentations easy. We'll also look at your building capacities and make sure they're meeting the 85% rule so that you do have some space in your schools for space. What is unique about us is we also have in-house capabilities to do enrollment studies and demographics. Becca Rustock helps us with that with her economic development background. We're going to document all of your schools, all the spaces, all of your programs, so you have it in one spot to live for a lifetime. Next slide. Our deliverable is going to be in book form or in digital form so that you can have it on your phones. If you run into someone at the grocery store and they want to know what you're doing, you can pull it up and show it to them. Next slide. And then for the benefit of our clients, we look at every project and the best delivery method for that project. And we will marry projects through, you see that spreadsheet, we're constantly doing cost analysis on projects. We look at design, bid, build, co-stars, Keystone Purchasing Network, GISA projects, and we try to marry what projects work best for that delivery method. Something that we are currently doing right now at Northwestern Lehigh, but we've married every one of those, all four of those up there together to deliver a project to renovate their library. That's what we look for at the end of the day. That's the Dallas School District. I tell everyone, I should have been in that photo, but I was standing in line at the ice cream truck, and that's a true story. But we look for everyone to be happy and smiling, just like you are right now when we're done with our product. So thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Happy to answer any questions.
Questions from the board or administration?
I think I caught you saying something at the end, near the end there, but I want to make sure we have that clear, that you partner with somebody, you in-house do enrollment studies, but you partner with somebody to provide economic factors, local economic factors. Did I get that right?
Do that in-house.
You do that in-house. You don't partner with anybody for that. Thank you.
You can partner with someone if you prefer.
When you hire subcontractors, what is your criteria for hiring subcontractors? Do you try to do local, or do you take a wide variety and then see what quality is and price, et cetera?
So it's really hard for public projects to dictate local contractors, but using some of these the delivery methods that I mentioned, you are able to do that. But it's what we always try to do, a quality-based selection if we can. That's not always possible with public bidding.
Other questions? All right, thank you. We'll be making our decision soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Seven.
I do have hard copies if anybody's interested.
Anyone want anything? We have the original proposals that you guys gave us? Yeah, we have that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
7.1, athletics activity consent items. The board will take action to approve athletic activities 7.2, 7.3, 7.4, 7.5. Take a moment. Is there anything anyone would like to remove from that? No? Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Thank you.
Mr. Garmin.
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman.
Yes.
Mr. Riker Jr.
Yes.
Mr. Umbriak.
Yes.
Mr. Vognetz.
Yes.
Mr. Brookhart.
Yes.
Dr. Faulkner.
Yes.
Dr. Green.
Yes. On to academic affairs. 8.1, tuition paid student. The board will take action to accept the transfer student 180917 to Danville Area School Districts as tuition paying student to enroll in our agricultural mechanization general program 010201 using section 1809A of the PA School Code beginning in the 2024-2025 school year. Student family resides in the Shamokin Area School District who will be responsible for paying tuition.
Motion.
Second.
Problem where there isn't one, but and whether we should be passing a policy. I don't want to create a problem because a lot of other districts, it is. Here it never has been.
Yeah, we can certainly provide a kind of comprehensive update on where all those things stand between, obviously, PIAA's has made a change. I think we did talk about that briefly a couple meetings ago, but it would be very good for us to have a solid understanding across the board.
As long as we start it before the fall sports season.
We'll have it in July.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Hoffman.
Yes.
Mr. Riker Jr.
Yes.
Mr. Umbriak.
Yes.
Mr. Vognetz.
Yes.
Mr. Brookhart.
Yes.
Dr. Faulkner.
Yes.
Mr. Garmin.
Yes.
Dr. Green.
Yes. On to 10.1, finance reports. NTD, correct? 10-2, May 2024 finance reports attached to the agenda. 10-3, May 2024 cash receipts. Bills for payment, May 3rd, 2024 through June 6th, 2024. The board will take action to approve bills for payment, May 3rd, 2024 through June 6th, 2024 as presented.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Riker Jr.,
Abstain.
Mr. Umbriak,
Yes.
Mr. Vognetz,
Yes.
Mr. Brookhart, Dr. Faulkner,
Yes.
Mr. Garmin,
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman,
Yes.
Dr. Green.
Yes. 10-5, financial consent items. So the board will take action to approve the financial items 10-6 through 10-14. Please take a moment and see if there's any you would like removed.
Definitely 10-6 if we could. 12.
10-6 and 10-12.
In 10, I have a question about 1013. Did we put, I know we talked about this at committee, executive session.
Yeah.
Did we put this out for a bid?
And they came recommended in terms of turnaround time and quality of work as well, which with us being behind, we were looking for in conversations with other districts.
All right. Go ahead, Richard.
I mean, go ahead.
Yeah, that's a great question, and I kind of have mixed feelings because Clasic's great, and I would absolutely, I will vote for them, would be in favor of them, but I really just think we need to practice of putting these out through RFP moving forward. I'll vote for this, and I don't know how the rest of the board
Yeah.
feels, and Clasic's a fantastic company, and I think that they come highly recommended. I agree with Mr. Sokolowski and Dr. Need, but out so that we can see what proposals come in. That's just my perspective of it.
Yeah, I'm on the same page. That's why I asked that question.
I will note that during the committee of the whole, the discussion didn't end up centering around that. The board as a whole, even though it wasn't a voting item, seemed to be
Yeah.
okay with moving forward. So if that's the way we want to do things in the future, we certainly can, right?
Yeah. I don't think we have to do it for everything, but auditing services, that's my feeling. But no, and I'm fine. I'm going to vote in favor of this. It's on the agenda. It got here. Just
Yeah.
for future, my belief is that things should go out because I think you're going to get better prices. But this is a good price,
Sure.
too. So that's why the mixed feelings about this. I think it's cheaper than we paid before, Mike, right? Same as what we would have paid. It was the same?
Yeah, I don't want to
Okay,
pull.
all right, yeah, no, that's
I just had the
that's
question.
very reasonable for auditing services. There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah, no, I'm fine with that.
And part of the, to reiterate, I think part of the motivation as discussed at committee of the whole was the fact that we are behind.
Yes.
Yeah,
And that's
no,
something needs to be done now.
Understood,
And
yeah.
I actually think administration even mentioned the idea of putting it out for an RFP, and the board as a whole didn't feel that that was necessary. So.
And that's fine. I'm always willing to be 8-1. I have no problem with I- that. I think right now we could certainly actually, if this were to pass tonight, we could prepare an RFP for future services almost immediately so that we start that process right away.
Yeah, and the
Because
other thing
23,
is-
24 is going to be wrapping up
Right.
momentarily.
The other thing is, I wasn't here previously, which is my fault, not anyone else's, but I know that we've really struggled with getting these things up to date, so we need to turn around, and this company is excellent. I understand the process and why you did what you did. So if we're gonna do anything long-term.
So you want 10-6 and 10-13 removed or not?
Mine were 10-6 and
10-12?
10-12. And the reason I asked about 10-12 was a statement in there, I believe, Mike, that says that we have about $4.6 million in capital projects. Is that about right?
That was the, at that point in '22, yeah.
All right. And we're probably
It's almost, the only thing left in that fund right now for capital projects is what's left from that.
Okay, that's what I was interested
The
in.
rest of the building projects are done.
Okay.
It's just the funding left. $1 million.
And that's what's still there.
That's what's still due.
I just wanted to ask that in conjunction with this tonight, but it also, to me, impacts the budget and where we're going, because there's a piece in there about debt service and using that money for debt service. But if we're getting down that low, I don't think we should consider doing that. Okay.
Do you still want that pulled?
I don't need any of them pulled now. I'm good.
Okay,
Richard, I don't know where you are. You kind of nodded there, but I'm fine with everything.
So you're good with 10-6
Yeah,
not
I'm
being
good
pulled
with
into?
both of them.
Okay.
So nothing is pulled.
Nothing is pulled, it sounds like. Does anyone else have anything they want? Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Umbriak.
Good.
Mr. Vognetz.
No.
Mr. Burkhart.
Yes.
Dr. Faulkner.
Yes.
Mr. Garmin.
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman.
Yes.
Mr. Riker Jr.
Yes.
Dr. Green.
Yes. On to personnel. 11.1, personnel consent items. The board will take action to approve personnel items 11.2 through 11.26. So take a moment and see if there's anything that you want to remove.
$11.15.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm gonna let it go. That's fine.
Art, you okay?
Good, yeah.
Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Mr. Vognetz.
Yes.
Mr. Burkhart.
Yes.
Dr. Faulkner.
Yes.
Mr. Garmin.
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman.
Yes.
Mr. Riker Jr.
Yes.
Mr. Umbriak.
Yes.
Dr. Green.
Yes. All right. 12, policy and insurance. 12.1, policy and insurance consent items. The board will take action to approve policy and insurance items 12.2 and 12.3. Would anyone like to remove either of those?
I'm gonna ask again. 12.2, did we put this out to any kind of process, or was this just something we absorbed?
Else we're good for our workers' comp, department out and look at it with the best information. Try to get the best deal, but we're staying with the range. Appraisal values went up significantly.
Okay. Everyone else? Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Burkhart.
Yes.
Dr. Faulkner.
Yes.
Mr. Garmin.
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman.
Yes.
Mr. Riker Jr.
Yes.
Mr. Umbriak.
Yes.
Mr. Vognetz.
Yes.
Dr. Green.
Yes. 12.4, expulsion agreement. The board will take action to approve the expulsion agreement for student A1107 beginning August 22nd, 24 through September 30th, 2024, in accordance with policy number 233, suspension and expulsion.
Motion.
Second.
Dr. Faulkner.
Yes.
Mr. Garmin.
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman.
Yes.
Mr. Riker Jr.
Yes.
Mr. Umbriak.
Yes.
Mr. Vognetz.
Yes.
Mr. Brookhart.
Yes.
Dr. Green.
Yes. 13.1, transportation consent items. The board will take action to approve transportation items 3.2 through 3.4. Take a moment, see if there's any you would like to remove.
Can we vote on all three individually?
If you want to remove all three, you have that right.
Yeah, please.
Okay. We're going to vote on them as individual items. Athletic transportation, 3.2. The board will take action to approve awarding the supplemental transportation services under Schedule A, athletics of the athletic band, field trip, and extracurricular transportation RFP to W.L. Myers & Son LLC for the 2024-2025 and 2025-2026 school year as presented. Can I get a motion? Second.
Second.
Sorry, who's second? Mr. Garmin.
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman.
Yes.
Mr. Riker Jr.
Abstain.
Mr. Umbriak.
Yes.
Mr. Vognetz.
Yes.
Mr. Brookhart.
Yes.
Dr. Faulkner.
Yes.
Dr. Green.
Yes. 13.3, band transportation. The board will take action to approve awarding the supplemental transportation services under Schedule B, band and athletic band field trip extracurricular transportation RFP to Fishing Creek Transportation for the 2024-2025 and 2025-2026 school year as presented. Can I get a motion? Second.
Second.
Mr. Hoffman.
Yes.
Mr. Riker Jr.
Abstain.
Mr. Umbriak.
Yes.
Mr. Vognetz.
Yes.
Mr. Brookhart. Dr. Faulkner.
Yes.
Mr. Garmin.
No.
Dr. Green.
Yes. 13.4, field trip extracurricular transport. The board will take action to approve the award supplemental transport services under Schedule C, field trip extracurricular of the athletic band, field trip and extracurricular transportation, RFP to Fishing Creek Transport for the 2024-2025 and 2025-2026 school years as presented. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Riker Jr.
Abstain.
Mr. Umbriak.
Yes.
Mr. Vognetz.
Yes.
Mr. Brookhart.
Yes.
Dr. Faulkner.
Yes.
Mr. Garmin.
No.
Mr. Hoffman.
Yes.
Dr. Green.
No. 14, board concerns and items for the next meeting agenda, 14.1.
What's our process and timeline for selecting an architect?
That's a good question.
I think the sooner the better.
I do too.
Yeah. I know I'm the head of the committee. I think I've said before, my company works with both of them.
Yep.
I don't personally work with either one of them, but we work with both. And I can say just a couple things. You know, the first one kind of played up local. Neither one of these companies are local. They're both good and they're both reputable. So, you know, you're looking at Easton-based and a Lancaster-based company. So just so that's kind of clear. But they're both well regarded in the field, and what you're going to get is probably pretty similar. It's just you may be working with whoever this is for 5 years. So figure out who you're comfortable with, because they're going to be around for a while.
But this is something that's only, just to make sure I understand correctly, this is something that's not discussable in executive session, but should be discussed in public, correct?
Correct.
All right, just making sure. So I'm glad you brought this up, because I was thinking about bringing it up. So I don't know if it's worth having a brief discussion now or something to be put on the next agenda if we can come to consensus that rapidly. I mean, I don't know if anyone has any initial intuition as to which company you'd like to work with. You have the financial information, which we were given last meeting. And to be honest, they're
pretty
relatively
similar.
similar. I mean, the difference in cost is not that much, so it's really going to come down to which company that you think is the one that you guys would be more comfortable with.
So I liked Alloy 5's approach more as far as the customer service base of it,
Yeah.
because it seemed like that the crew that you were going to get from day one
was going to be the crew you're going to have at day 365. And I think that's important when you're doing a major project that you're always dealing with the same people. It's easier to make changes. It's easier to get access to them if you have dedicated people to your job.
Okay, that's true.
I know VOTEC had a lot of good things to say about them because I know they had contractor issues up there with their project. But I mean, that's really all I know. Just being at those meetings, they had good things to say about them, always.
They certainly managed through some changes along
Yes,
the way, too.
a lot,
Oh, yeah.
a lot.
Statement.
And I feel I need to disclose also,
I like
I know
Alloy.
him more. But it's not because of my affiliation with the company.
Sure.
Because of being a Berwick when the VOTEC project was being done. That was an ordeal. Being on the board here and being superintendent of Berwick at that time, that was tough to work through. So I did get to know them a little bit better because of that. That's not an endorsement of them, but I just feel that I have more of a connection with them. I know Dana also Dana was the person to the far right from Rod of Maine. We had a pretty long association with Alloy 5. Dad would remember from that project because I think he was in. You wouldn't remember. And
Depends on the day.
but yeah, that's probably if you're looking at references on them, it would be there. Looking at references on Murata, Maine, it'll probably be.
Yeah, I'll just throw. I've worked on a project with Murata, Maine before. Don't have anything bad to say about them. They did a great job in that project. But one of the things that I think, if we're truly wondering about long-range planning and not just fixing something up, that enrollment study is critical, and the fact that they do that in-house, and the fact that they not only look at live birth rates but also take into account economic index factors, to me, sets them apart. In my mind.
I just said nothing related to what we're talking about now, but a concern I have is the undergraduates for the various schools. I mentioned this before. I had their pictures in the paper, and it would generally say the student's name, son or daughter of, and the parents' names, and then where they're going to school and what their major is going to be. And I think people are interested in that. They're interested in knowing what the kids are doing, where they're going, what they're going to be majoring. But Danville was an exception, and Danville was the only exception. And it didn't say son or daughter of, it said child of. And it also didn't say where they were going to school or what they were going to major in. It just said child of so-and-so. I don't understand quite why that was. My understanding is that the newspaper did not get the information they needed. They didn't get that information stating that it was a son or daughter of, and what they were going, where they were going, and what they were going to major in. But I think it was, the term child is not appropriate for a senior, for a graduating senior. And I was just concerned that in the future that doesn't happen again. I think it's just Danville was the only one that I know of. And I know it was mentioned. I mean, some people did talk about it, and I think it's just inappropriate.
Bob, do you have any thoughts on Alloy versus Marietta and Maine? Of those two? Like Alloy, okay. So it sounds like I'm getting a consensus here that Alloy seems.
Jason, when you said what you said earlier, were you talking about
Alloy.
Oh, you're talking about Alloy.
Yeah, I'm talking about I don't want to. Me saying that I would be supportive of Alloy 5 is not to say anything negative about Murata, Maine. I had a great experience with them. I just think that was a singular project where there was an addition and there were fields. If we're truly looking at the long-range health and planning for the district, I think that enrollment study with all of those factors included is far more important. And the fact that they do that in-house and they have somebody that focuses on that is really important.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Previous district, Easton, I was there.
project, Alloy Foy ran it. End of COVID, and find the man issues of material, they did an excellent job. Project was done on time. As there's a meeting every month or every 2 weeks, he shows up.
Yeah, it doesn't.
What's going on?
So I'm getting Alloy. So would anyone have a big problem if that's on the next agenda? It sounds like that's on the next agenda. Problem solved.
We'll make
Ron,
note of that.
thank you. Can I say
I-
one more thing real quickly,
Yeah.
and I'll stop?
Yeah.
Sokolowski, I just want to say we appreciate, this is your last meeting, right?
Correct.
You came in when we were kind of in a bind here, and I wish you were staying longer. But you came in when things were tough, and I think you really stabilized a lot. Just wanted to say the time that you spend here, and wish you luck at Sealands Grove.
Thank you.
I'm done. Go ahead.
I also wanted to make an acknowledgement that we have a new principal at the elementary school that sort of slipped under the radar in a consent item. So Gianna, I just want to say congratulations. And get ready.
We're excited to have Mrs. Earp in that role, and I'd also like to say congratulations to Heather Hackenberg, who is going to be a new secretary in the high school for us and was approved this evening. So thank you for being here, and congratulations, Heather.
Oh.
Mr. Gump, I know what Robert brought up was at the committee as a whole. Did you dig into the information and possibly find a solution?
I have not, but I promise you by July I will get you an answer, okay?
Yep.
All right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, public comments? All right. Do we don't need an executive session after the fact, I don't think. Do we need any further discussion? I don't think so. I think, is everyone satisfied with the forward-moving plan? Okay, thank you. Motion to adjourn? Adjourn.